Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now May 3rd of 2022, and we're not only getting closer to the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, but we're also getting very much close to other shows out there like the Ahsoka Tano TV series that's set to debut by early 2023. We also have a lot of other projects that will be announced, by the way, at Star Wars Celebration this year and next year. That's going to be a big deal for fans. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, we are currently in a very exciting time for Star Wars, given that we have people out there like Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, George Lucas, all working together as a team to really bring Star Wars in a brand new direction. And they are treating it with great care, mind you. They want to make sure that they can bring in a lot of Star Wars Legends highlights into the actual storyline of all these different projects that are under development, as well as a lot of unused material that George Lucas did not approve for Legends back in the 1990s and the early 2000s. Now, on top of all of this, we already know that, of course, everything related to Disney CEO Bob Chapek is that he's basically trying to leave a footprint in the Star Wars universe. He is trying to create his own legacy, to create a more positive experience for Star Wars, and so far, so good, right? I mean, when you look at the Book of Boba Fett as a series, that was a minor speed bump, in my opinion at least. You know, it had its flaws, and we can just move on. You know, focusing on the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show, that is the major deal right now. This is the big thing that Disney has to prove, that Star Wars is indeed back in action. And that leads us to this subject today, which involves, of course, the big plan for the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series and exactly what's happening with the structure of the Kenobi TV show for Disney+. So, right now, The Mandalorian Season 4 is in the early stages and will enter principal photography by early 23 by Favreau and Filoni in an attempt to expand the Mandoverse. However, it's described that with the recent big change by Bob Chapek to make the Kenobi series into a multi-season show, both Favreau and Filoni are described to be involved with the second season of the Kenobi series heavily this time around, with Deborah, Chow, the director. Now, one of the big plans that Lucasfilm currently has for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is set to involve the addition of a younger version of Ahsoka Tano to join the Kenobi storyline that will involve interactions between both Kenobi and Ahsoka Tano in the Star Wars TV show. It's described that this idea was implemented by Dave Filoni and has been in deep conversations with Deborah Chow of how, of course, the addition of Ahsoka Tano would become a part of the Kenobi series. However, as of now, Lucasfilm is looking to recast the role for Ahsoka Tano by using a younger actress to portray the role. This is something that has been long discussed on whether or not they should use Rosario Dawson as a younger Ahsoka Tano. However, they are, as of now, making this into a concrete plan for the Kenobi series to recast Ahsoka and replace Rosario Dawson with somebody else in order to easily and realistically achieve a younger version of the character. Now, let me just discuss this real quick before we move on to the more advanced material. The thing about this that I think is quite clever is that they are going to have different iterations of Ahsoka, kind of like how we have different iterations of Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? You have the Sir Alec Guinness version of Kenobi, and you have, of course, the Ewan McGregor version of Kenobi. I kind of like that dynamic. And what John and Dave are doing now is that they are basically giving us just that. They are giving us different versions of Ahsoka Tano. And I think it's going to be a very interesting thing to see. I mean, she is going to be far younger in the Kenobi series, given that it is still going to take place roughly 10 to 13 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith, roughly, because there will be slight time jumps with Season 1, 2, and 3. The thing about this that I'm very skeptical about, however, though, is exactly who is going to become the younger version of Ahsoka Tano. That is a complete mystery as of right now. There is a list of people that are actually set to appear as Ahsoka Tano as her younger self, but they're not really quite sure exactly who they want to choose just yet. So just keep that in mind. Now, on top of all of that, The theme for the Kenobi series that Lucasfilm is aiming for is Jedi and hiding from the Empire and what their lives are like. The series is set to focus on characters like Kenobi, Ahsoka, and even Mace Windu as well, that will expand the complex story on different worlds across the galaxy. Now, actor Ian Mcdiarmid has also been in the talks to reappear as Emperor Palpatine once again, and that Lucasfilm wants to make him appear near similar to George Lucas's design from Revenge of the Sith. By the way, I think that's a very, good move on their part by giving us the Palpatine that we saw in Episode 3. So, with Disney making the Kenobi series into a 3-season long story, they are treating it essentially like as a trilogy in a sense, a beginning, middle, and end. Rosario Dawson is described to have been very much in support over the new actress that will replace her as Ahsoka Tano in the Kenobi series. However, as of now, Lucasfilm is still on the lookout for which actress to use for a younger version of the character. Disney already has a couple of actresses in the roster of who they want to choose from, and it's going to be a very tough decision on their part, since they want to be very careful with the fandom and prevent any kind of major backlash, like with what happened with The Last Jedi. Now, they are looking to making this young version of Ahsoka very accurate to her personality in the Clone Wars and the Rebels TV show. Given that it is going to be based 10 to 13 years later, her personality, however, will be slightly altered in live-action form. Now, let me just kind of reflect on this for a second, because this, I think, is a very great move by Disney and Lucasfilm to put in Ahsoka Tano into the Kenobi verse, as I like to call it. But the other thing that I think a lot of fans, without a doubt, are going to be very skeptical about and very on edge over is how they are going to be recasting the character and replacing Rosario Dawson. Now, technically speaking, they could have made Rosario Dawson look and appear younger, but when you're actually all covered in makeup as a different species, it's kind of harder to pull that off. They would likely have to make her look shorter. They would probably have to alter her montrails a little bit and stuff around those lines, right? I think it is probably a better scenario to kind of get somebody else to play a younger version of Ahsoka. Like I say, I mean, when you look at everything related to this, they're basically giving us what they did with Obi-Wan, right? In Revenge of the Sith and the prequel trilogy as a whole, we got the Ewan McGregor iteration of Kenobi, which I thought was amazing. So now they're doing a very similar scenario with Ahsoka Tano, and I think it's a very smart move because they won't have to go through many hoops to make Rosario Dawson appear younger. They won't have to pull things off like making her look shorter and stuff around those lines. But, at the end of the day, if they really, really wanted to, they could have kept Rosario Dawson and could have really, shot through all those hoops and just kind of made her appear younger. They could have technically done it. It probably would have been a lot more of a tougher, process. But I think that looking back here, this is a very detailed decision by Disney, and I think it's not only going to create a little bit more, things to actually be excited for, but it's also going to give us a different version of Ahsoka Tano in live action form. And I think that's quite, something to look forward to as well. So, overall, guys, let me know what you guys have to say about the Kenobi series and the direction of it all. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.